Good evening, everyone. We'll start the webinar in a few minutes as we are waiting for the other participants to join the webinar. Hi everyone, good evening. It's raining out there, so I hope you're sitting down comfy and had your dinner already. All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mita, and welcome to our skill migration webinar. Spotlight on the state nomination visa 190 and 491. First and foremost, I would like to thank everyone for attending our webinar this evening. The speaker for today would be our Australian skill migration expert, Miss Audrey.
Hi everyone, good evening.
So, we will be discussing about the Australian state nomination criteria for our skill migration visa subclass 190 and 491. Okay, so let me introduce about our company and our advisors. All right. Firstly, okay, we have James Allen Hall, the director. He's a licensed migration advisor and he's been in the industry for almost 21 years. Next, we have Desmond Ang, okay, our managing director of Global Migration Solutions. He's a chartered accountant and also a licensed migration advisor for almost 20 years. And next, we have our speaker for tonight, Miss Audrey Anthony, who has been in the industry for 14 years, specializing in general skill migration, visas, RRB. All right. And next, a little about us. We carry ourselves as a premier and an Australian government licensed company that advocates the right migration ethics with trust, service, and commitment for our clients, partners, and our brand. What does this mean is that we will always give you a transparent assessment. We'll be telling the truth, and there will be no hiding, and everything will be clear from us. All right, and we are different from other migration firms mainly because we do not have a sales team in our company. Okay, hence your assessment will be only undertaken by our consultants. Okay, because we believe in providing a very detailed and clear consultation. All right, JMS has been in the radar for almost 20 years with a 99% success record, who has helped more than 13,000 families to migrate successfully. And this number continues to grow till today. Also, we are the only migration company in Malaysia to receive the top 25 Global Migration Agency CA Award by U Global. We have been progressing from being the top 100 in 2018 to top 25 in 2022. This is definitely not possible without the support from our partners, state governments, and also clients. Okay. We are also licensed with the Australian government to provide immigration advice. As you can see, these are the license for Resmond Ang and Mr. James as a registered migration agents by the Australian Government, Department of Home Affairs. You would be able to look up these details in the immigration website, as it is always important that you are dealing with a registered migration officer holding the current license, because they would need to complete a yearly CPD to maintain their knowledge in the industry. All right. Here is our presence. Global Migration Solutions has widened its horizons to countries such as Australia, Singapore, Vietnam, Cambodia, and Hong Kong. These are the services we carry. We are the pioneers for Australia and New Zealand. We also do investment programs for the European Residency Program, which is through Portugal and also the United States through the EB5 program. So that's a little bit about our background. We can now begin the session, and I would like to welcome Miss Audrey to take over.
Sure. Thank you, Mita. Hi, good evening, everyone. I hope, I believe there might be some who are still stuck in the traffic. Myself and Mita, we are in the office and we can really see the jam out there. It's really, really horrible today. So I guess there would be some who are not. I think there's still a very good turnout today, but there might be some who are really stuck. But not to worry, if you have any of your friends who are supposed to join us and all that, there will be a recording of this that we'll be able to share later as well. Okay. So I've seen the registration list. There's a lot of current clients joining this as well. So welcome back. At the same time, there are also a lot of newcomers. So for the benefit of those who are new to this process, allow me to also introduce how this program works from scratch. Okay, but I'll take it very quickly. So here's the common skill migration pathways to Australia. So what we will be zooming in today is general skill. So general skill migration is one of the most popular pathways of migrating to Australia, because you're migrating solely on the basis of your current work experience and qualification without you needing to have any form of employer support or job offer in Australia. So it's like, for the longest time, this has been the most popular pathway. Global talent, as the title itself goes, talent, this is for those who are able to demonstrate high achievements, innovations. I think the real key word here is innovation that Australia is looking at. So this program is one of the ways of migrating, but it's actually going to be revamped by end of this year, and it's very, very selective at this point of time. Then we have employer sponsor. So employer sponsor is actually where you already have a company or an employer in Australia willing to sponsor you, offer you a job and sponsor the visa at the same time. So this is also a very top priority by the Australian government. A lot of quotas for this, but generally the reality is it's not easy to get this unless it's an intercompany transfer, or you have some strong networks in Australia who are able to offer you the job. So otherwise, when you actually try to apply for a job from Malaysia, like you apply online right now, from wherever you are, not Malaysia, right? Anywhere out of Australia, when you start to apply a job, most often than not, you will get the reply, do you have work rights? Do you have your own visa? So when you say no, then they'll be like, they won't be able to assist you further. Hence why you need to do number one, which is general skill migration. So general skill migration gets you the visa. Then with the visa, you apply a job, and then you have an equal playing field in order to get a job with the others as well. Okay. So let's look at the criteria for skill migration. There's an age limit below 45. There's a point test to be met. So the point test is basically 65 points. There are a lot of factors that makes up the 65 points. So when you actually come for a private consultation with us, we will be walking you through a detailed assessment on where you stand in this point test. Then next, your occupation needs to be on the list. There's 500 over occupations. that is available for migration to Australia. English test is something that you would also need to complete, no matter if you studied in the UK or even if you have studied in Australia for 10 years, that doesn't count. Okay, English test is mandatory because they actually follow passports. So if you're like passport holder of certain Western countries like Canada, UK, what else? Canada, UK, US, then you're exempted. Otherwise, English test is mandatory. Okay, there are two types of English tests, IELTS and PTE. PTE has become a very popular test. A lot of our clients are taking it. We also provide a free orientation session. We arrange an orientation session for our clients for PTE so that you are prepared, okay, and to go and get your high scores and boost your point test. And EOI invitation. So EOI invitation, this is actually, I always feel EOI invitation is still new, but it's not new. It was introduced in 2012, okay? So since 2012, the way of applying for a visa to Australia has changed, because prior to 2012, there was no invitation. You get your documents done, you submit a visa. But ever since July 2012, you will need to submit a profile and get an invitation in order to submit a visa. No invitation, no visa yet, okay? Then once you're invited for a visa, you submit a visa, then you'll need to complete health checks and police checks. So this is the basic criteria for a skilled migration. Okay, so under skilled migration, there's actually 3 visa classes. There's another visa class which I didn't include today, that's skill independent. Since our focus is on state-nominated visa, this is the focus for today, 190, 491. So 190 and 491, they are both state-nominated visa. They both have a 5-year validity. The difference is, for 190, you get a direct PR upon grant, whereas for 491, you will get a temporary residence first, a TR, but that TR can be converted into a full PR eventually. So in short, I like to say both gets you a PR. Okay, that's a more positive way of looking at it, because when I tell clients 491 is a TR, they're like, oh, no, I want the PR. You know, you'll still get the PR with the 491, okay? It's just that you get the TR first. Now let's look at the main differences. Being a PR, there is no geographical restriction. There is also no work requirement. So you'll be very surprised to know that if you get a 190 visa to Australia, you actually don't need to work, right? The only requirement for you to maintain your permanent residency in Australia is just live 2 years in Australia. And this 2 years is not consecutive, it's cumulative. So you can travel in, out, accumulate your 365 times 2, you will then get your next 5 years in Australia. That's how, I think, easy Australia PR is, okay? I mean, in order to maintain the PR is not that difficult. Now, let's look at the 491. The 491, as you can see that the term skilled work regional, it's a visa that allows you to live and work in areas that are considered as regional by immigration's definition. So this is a lot of areas actually, because it's in the entire Australia except Sydney, Brisbane, and Melbourne. All right. So only these 3 cities you won't be able to live or work in while you hold the TR. But once you've converted it into a PR, you're good to be anywhere, and it's like almost as good. And it comes back to being like a 190. Now, how do you convert to PR? That's the question. All you need to do is evidence 3 years of your taxable income of either if you're a salaried employee or self-employed. Anything is fine as long as you're a taxpayer for 3 years. That's all you need to do. So in the 5 years, let's say you complete year 1, year 2, year 3 by being a taxpayer, and let's say you're living in Newcastle, okay, which is in New South Wales, but not in Sydney. So you can be in Newcastle, Central Coast, Wollongong if you want to be nearer to Sydney. If you want to be nearer to Melbourne, you can stay in places like Geelong, right? All these are regional. So work there, be a taxpayer for 3 years, then you can convert this into a full PR. So it's not too bad. And you still enjoy the most important benefit for a migrant, such as Medicare under 491. You also get free primary and secondary tuition fees for your children if you go under the 491. Okay, so this visa is not bad at all. Sorry, my slide is stuck. Okay. So now let's get into the main part of this webinar, which is a state nomination overview. So I've shared this before in my webinar in July, last July, or was it August? But I think it's really worth sharing again, especially for the benefit of those who are joining us for the first time. So this is the quotas that are available for this year, which is 2024-2025. As you know, Australia's fiscal year starts in July, right? So it goes up to 1st of July 2024 till 30th June 2025. That's the fiscal year. So what you'll be able to see here is what I've also highlighted is every state has an increase in quotas this year, which is actually good news, except for Queensland. So Queensland kind of like curbed down their numbers, right? They've actually clamped it down to 600. But other than that, it's an increase. And in total, you'll be able to see 190 has jumped from 10,300 to 16,500. And for 491, it jumped from 6,400 to 9,760. So this is actually a very good news. Okay, it's certainly a better news than it was last year. And we are still very new into the program. We haven't seen much movement in terms of invitation as yet, but I believe there will be more to come. All right. Okay. Sorry, my screen is really slow today. I'm not too sure why. All right, so please bear with me. Okay, highlight. So let's talk about Western Australia first. So for Western Australia, one of the biggest highlight is look at the quota that they have. They actually have 5,000 in total, which is like fantastic. Okay, and out of this 5,000, 3,000 is for 190, and 2,000 is for 491. So my focus today is actually going to be for offshore only, okay, because this is I know that most of our clients here are offshore applicants. So the good news is it's open for offshore under Stream 1, WASMOL Stream 1, WASMOL 2, and Graduate Stream as well. Okay, so it's all open for offshore. An easier way to differentiate WASMOL 1 and WASMOL 2 is WASMOL 1 occupations are mostly health industry related. So if you're actually like non-health sector, you actually fall into WASMOL 2. So that's why I've put here the occupation types are various occupations. Okay, there are various occupations for both WASMOL 2 and WASMOL and graduate stream. No work experience required. So these are all minimum criteria, yeah. These are minimum criteria to actually qualify. So no work experience, that means anyone who doesn't have work experience can actually submit an EOI to WA, all right? And then English, minimum is competent. Job offer is required for 190, okay? So job offer is required for 190, but if you're actually in the building and construction sector, such as, so building and construction sector is like civil engineers, construction project manager, construction estimator, architects, there's no need for a job offer. Okay, so WA's focus this year is a lot on construction and building industry. I think they really need people, and they really need people to come in to help build more properties and infrastructure in Western Australia. So that's their focus this year. So if you're in that field, that is one of the good states to look at. So what I wanted to share with you in this webinar is also the ranking factors. Because you might want to know like, hey, if I put in my EOI, what are the chances that I would actually get selected? And how do they choose? What do they look at, right? So this is what they look at. So this is the ranking. So the priority goes for those residing in Western Australia, okay, which means onshore is what is their first choice. Then offshore. Okay, it's good to know that we are in the second ranking, okay? Then it comes to the occupation and what particular sector you belong to. So number 4 to number 7 are the specific sectors. So this is how WA ranks their EOI. Okay. So far, this is so WA is actually nice enough to publish their invitation reports. Okay. So this is published for actually, this one is, I extracted the latest one. There was another round of invitation that took place in August. But let's look at this. I know it's a bit small. I had to squeeze this in. But in short, let me just sum this up for you. Occupations that were selected in 2 of these rounds so far has been in building and construction, healthcare, hospitality, and all this education, which means only the priority sectors were selected in this past 2 rounds. Okay. And you can see here in the last one, all other occupation on WASMOL and GOL. So GOL is the graduate stream, nothing yet. Okay. And it's building and construction, this priority sectors. And you can see the state of residence is also Western Australia, which means onshore. Okay, so they've selected onshore. So I'm not surprised, but please don't be disheartened. The reason I'm sharing this with you is for you to really understand how technical the details are behind this, right? It's just, invitations have just started. So they have 5,000 in total, remember? So, but they've only issued out, not that they have not exhausted it for sure. Okay, there was another, you can go to the Western Australia website and find that out if you want. I didn't put that in, but I think it was about a few hundreds being invited. Okay. Now let's go to everyone's favorite, Victoria. Okay. So this is Victoria. So what does Victoria have? 5,000 as well. Okay. So 3,000 for 190 and 491, 2,000. So are they open for offshore? Yes, they're open for offshore for both 190 and 491. Occupation-wise, they don't have a specific list. So which means if you are on the entire skill migration list, remember I mentioned the skill migration list has 500 occupations, then if you are there, then you can actually apply, submit your interest to Victoria. No work experience required. English level minimum is competent to qualify to even submit an EOI. No job offer needed. And they need another additional thing called ROI. So what is ROI? It's registration of interest. So on top of us submitting the EOI for you, we will also need to submit a registration of interest to Victoria Government's portal. So your name will be there. Okay. So as usual, priority sectors are always health, social services, education, construction, new energy. This is what they are looking at, but it's very, these are priority. That doesn't mean other occupations don't get invited. This has always been a priority. And in the past, we actually had marketing, public relations getting selected. Okay. Now let's look at Victoria's ranking factors. Okay, how does Victoria pick their profile? Who do they like? So Victoria has come out very clean to say that age is one of the important factors. Okay, so they have clearly mentioned that actually their priority is younger candidates. Okay, younger candidate is what is their first choice. So when we say younger, you're looking at 20-something to 30-something, and that's what this was actually clearly mentioned in the webinars that they actually did. So Victoria government did a webinar for migration agents. We attended that, and one of the information they shared is, age is priority. So English language level as well. So this is the part I really, really want to emphasize. As much as you would see minimum requirements from even Western Australia, Victoria, you would even see perhaps South Australia, minimum requirement is competent. But please don't be contented to see that, right? Because in the end of the day, to be competitive, they will still pick those with higher English levels, okay? Especially states like Victoria. So age, English level, years of experience, okay? And if you're onshore, for onshore, salary matters. So your salary level matters. But I think it's very, for Victoria, we've seen it. Younger candidates, of course, good English, this is what they look at, okay? That's their preference. So far, Victoria doesn't have a report like Western Australia. Many states actually don't have a report. So I technically need to rely on information from anyone who's posting online that's legit. And of course, we check with our Singapore office of what they get as well. So there have been 2 rounds of invitation, 27 August and 11 September. The first round, they actually issued out 900 in total. So out of the 5,000, 900 has been issued. And the profiles seem to be very much heavier on the onshore, okay? Onshore candidates have seemed to be higher actually. So we have not received as yet any invitation for our clients for Victoria. But like I said, right, the program just started, okay? They just started in August. So we've done August, they've done September. I think they are really giving the priority to the onshore first, and then eventually they're going to come to the offshore, okay? Because they have a lot of quota. That's Victoria. Now let's move on to South Australia. So South Australia, again, very high quota, which is 3,000 for 190 and 800 for 491. To be very honest, this is very, very surprising. As you know, I've been doing this for 14 years, and South Australia, when the early days when I started, yes, a very fantastic state. You can easily get nominations from South Australia. Then they actually got tougher. They actually got tougher because I think they started seeing that the clients get the 190 through South Australia, but they end up going to other places like Melbourne, Sydney, because, you know, it's just a moral obligation to be in the state. So I saw the tightening of the 190, okay? Because they were prioritizing 190 for those already living there. But this year, they have 3,000 for 190 and 491 is lesser, which means they have more to give. So they are open for offshore for both 190 and 491. They have over 427 occupations, but they have a minimum work experience. Okay, so minimum 3 years of work experience must be demonstrated unless you are in certain construction trades. Okay, and English again, competent. Competent is minimum, but as I told you, we definitely need to push up the English in order to be competitive. No job offer required, no ROI whatsoever. So just a submission of EOI. So let's look at their ranking factors. Look at number 1. It's not age, it's not points, it's English language ability. Okay, so South Australia has made it very clear. My priority is a candidate with high level of English. So when we talk about high level, we're talking about superior English scores, which is minimum 79 in PTE. So that's one. Then years of experience. So English years of experience. And then comes the points, okay? So like Victoria, right? If you're talking about Victoria, previously I had somebody who had maybe just 3 years of experience, but young and good English, they got selected. But for South Australia, years of experience matters, okay? Which actually makes perfect sense because I will share with you, we received invitations. Finally, very good news for, for me to share. We received invitations, and coincidentally, out of these 3 that we got, 2 of them are actually above 40. Okay, so this is really a good news for those above 40 who thinks that, oh my God, why does the state want young candidates? But look at South Australia, right? So my teacher and my project manager were both above 40. Yeah, above 40. Okay. And do look at the invitation receipts. Of course, we had to blank out the IDs and names. This was received in September, 2 in September, 1 in August. And what's the good news here? All 3 invitations received are for 190, which is fantastic, right? So which is fantastic. So it's nice to see that, because but it also makes sense because South Australia has more quota for 190 compared to 491. So because of that, they have the ability to give out the 190. So please don't miss this chance. If anyone is already in the pool right now, of course, if you're already our current clients, you know for sure your EOI is already in. But for those who are still contemplating, this is some good news for you to see. Okay. All right. Now, ACT. ACT generally has a smaller program. Okay. 1,000 for 190, 800 for 491. But the good news, they are also open for offshore, okay, Australian Capital Territory. So open for offshore for 190 and 491. They have their own occupation list. It's called the ACT Critical Skill List. You can take a look at it in the website. But it has diverse occupations. So they have marketing, they have graphic designers, a lot of occupations on the ACT Critical List. For the 190, you must demonstrate 3 years of experience in the past 5 years. For 491, 1 year in the past 5 years. So ACT is being very realistic. So they have said for 190, you need to be minimum proficient unless you're a chef or a lower skill level. For 491, it's competent. No job offer needed. But the tricky part with Canberra is they have a matrix. So they actually have their own matrix. And we need to basically do a matrix scoring for you to see where you stand. And if it's high, then it's worth putting it in. Okay, so we have had invitations in the past from Canberra, but for this year, we have not really seen high pointers yet. So I'll just share the matrix with you so you can see what it takes to qualify for the matrix and how to get more points. So take a look at this. I've screenshotted the matrix. So it actually matters even if you have visited Canberra. How interesting is that? I actually had, but this was always there. I had a client who purposely flew into Canberra. Previously, there was, it has changed actually, because previously they used to have visited Canberra for minimum 7 days. Okay, now it's just visited Canberra. Okay, so if you visited Canberra, you get points. Okay, occupation, of course, English, of course, no surprise. Then if a partner has an English, that helps. If you have a job offer, certainly that helps. Years of experience, higher years, more points, of course. Then if your spouse has a spouse partner employability, if the spouse has a skill, that also helps. Tertiary qualification, see what level of qualification you have. And if you actually studied in ACT, you get more points. So ACT is very ACT centric, okay? So the more you've been there, been with them, studied with them, and you'll be very surprised. The last one is actually invested with them. Okay, let me show you. Yeah, look at this. So if you're close family ties, you get points. And number 11, if you actually have invested in a commercial property or residential property, you get points. Okay, so this is ACT's matrix. We definitely, I mean, any clients will definitely do the matrix for you to see where you stand and then let you know if you should submit or not lah. Okay. But let me also share with you their trends, right? The trends and invitations. So 2 rounds have taken place. Priority sectors as well. The 2 rounds have been on priority sector. Actually, the round 1 was not too bad. Let me show you the round 1. But offshore invitations were issued. So that's good. The moment you see offshore invitations are being issued, that's already a good news. You just need to work on your points, right? Okay. So take a look at this. So let's look at the pink or purple ones, because that's overseas applicant. So the one in September, the first batch here is the one in September. You will see the occupations are all either health or teaching, correct? and all social services, health, teaching, social services. Okay. And the cutoff points were actually at 65, which is very little. Now let's look at the August one. Okay, this is August. A wide range of occupations were invited. Look at that. Finance managers, human resource manager, construction has come in. What else is nice? Cafe, restaurant manager, accountants. But look at the score, 130. So please don't get confused. This 130 score is nothing to do with DHA points. This is matrix scores, the matrix that I showed you earlier, to see what are your scoring there. And many other occupations you can see here. Advertising, public relations. So a variety of occupations were chosen. Okay. So that's ACT. So if you're interested to put in an EOI for ACT, we can definitely do that for you. Okay. So that's it for ACT. So basically that's the most important ones. South Australia, Western Australia, Victoria. These are the other states that I'm just giving a quick summary. Queensland, they've just opened like maybe 2 weeks ago. But considering the 600 and 600, which is 1,002 in total, as opposed to states like WA, SA has what? 3,800, right? They only have 1,200. Definitely, we're going to see them being very, very selective. So the occupation list is also very short. It's a lot of engineers involved. Even IT is like, I think only one occupation is there for IT. So mostly it's energy infrastructure, very engineering kind of occupation. And of course, healthcare, teaching and all that. Okay. We can try, but we know that if we do 600, we're not going to see, it's going to be a stiff competition. That's what's going to happen. Tasmania, Northern Territory closed for offshore. Okay, they're usually very active in selecting their own residents. And much awaited New South Wales. To be very honest with you, I was trying to postpone this webinar, trying to push out to see, like, let New South Wales come out as well. Then one shot, I can just give an overview of that. Waited and waited. Now we are on October 2nd. It's still not open. But NSW is supposed to open up in October. Okay. Nice quotas as well. As you can see, it's 5,000, 190, 3,000. NSW is also a state that gives out 190 for good pointers, right? Management kind of occupations like marketing, public relations. So don't think that it's only health, teaching. No. Okay. So let's look forward to New South Wales. Okay. So this is an overview of how the process is. Okay. So the first step is always to get your skill qualified. Okay, to see what is your nominated occupation based on the 500 occupation. What's your fit? Are you an IT security specialist, or are you a civil engineer? Are you marketing, right? That's a skill assessment. Then together with the English, this bubble, which is expression of interest, is where the state nomination takes place. Okay, so once we submit an expression of interest, this is where we indicate which particular state you're applying for. If it's SA, we'll put in SA. If it's WA, it's WA. At the same time, if your state has an extra step of submitting a matrix like Canberra, or a registration of interest like Victoria, then we need to do that as well. Okay. So how long do you wait here? I always have clients, I don't know, right? That's the truest and most genuine answer. I don't know. But of course, when you're at higher points, everyone is more hopeful as well. Okay. And we keep sharing information to clients of how the previous invitation rounds were. But once you've crossed that and you receive the invitation, you are like almost there. Okay. Because after that, you just have to submit a visa application with DHA, do the necessary. We'll take care to ensure you have an accurate application. You complete medicals, police check, then the visa decision takes place. Okay, so that's the flow. Everything done step by step. Okay. So yeah, I guess I'm done right? Let me see. Yep, I'm done. So I just wanted to share all the state information. It might be a bit heavy, but I think I think it's important for you to know all this. But if you've got any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. If you are our current clients, if you just reach out to your case managers. And for those who are new to this, just reach out to my inquiry team. Okay. So thank you, everyone. I think I'll pass it back to Mita to take over.
Hey Audrey, so yes, guys, it was a great session. So what's next for me? Okay, so you can call us, WhatsApp or email us to book your free consultation. So GMS will assess your eligibility for the general skill migration, and how we do that is we will assess your CV or your resume. So when you send it to us, ensure that you have please be clear of your job duties, your designation, and what you do basically in your employment. All right. And then once you have been assessed, you can meet us face to face or via Zoom with our qualified consultants. All right. And after that, after clear and transparent consultation, us, you have the decision to make a very important decision of your lifetime. All right. So, next, you can, this is a QR code that will direct you to our assessment page. And also, yes, please, you can scan the QR code now or take a picture of it. That is inquiry at Global Migration Solutions is our email, and also the number stated on the screen. You can contact us via WhatsApp, or also you can give us a call. All right. Also, we are active on social media platforms providing regular updates. So you may scan the QR code to follow our social media and stay updated with the latest migration news. All right. So now we have come to the Q&A session. So I hope you all have already typed your questions. So Audrey, now let's go to the first question. Um,
Sure, Asmita.
okay. How long? Oh, sorry, there's quite a number of questions. So yeah, how long did they have to wait to receive the invite from SA?
Oh, okay. Uh, let me try and recall these clients. Okay, so basically, these clients are the ones who were already in the pool earlier. Okay, so all three of them were already in the pool earlier, but it doesn't really work that way, like they waited that long, because when this new program is, so let me just give you an example. So for the Information and Organization Professionals, NEC, his EOI was already in the pool like 6 months ago. Okay, it's already 6 months ago. But at that time, South Australia only opened this occupation for 491. So which means when this year they have opened it up for 190 and 491. So what the team did is we updated his EOI to reflect 190, 491. Okay, so technically that was a change to his EOI. But after that was done, he basically got invited in about a month. Yeah, a month or less than that. Okay, so typically I would say since the new program year started, they waited 1 month, because every program year there can be a change to criteria. Okay, so it's
All right.
important to be in, especially when the program starts and when the program favors you. So I feel this year the program is very favoring for SA because they have higher quotas for 190.
Okay.
Okay.
So, okay, another question. When you are invited, does that mean you are basically getting the PR given the health and criminal checks pass? Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's how I said once you are invited, like 95% battle won. After that is ensuring paperwork is done correctly, right? So as much as getting invitation is like the biggest out of control hurdle, but you need to make sure whatever that was in control was done correctly and accurately. So for example, if you have claimed 90 points on your EOI and it was incorrect, the state would still invite you because it's not the state government's job to check if you have claimed points correctly. State will just say, oh, okay, you claimed this. Okay, just show me the documents. That's it. But when you get to visa stage, that is when the policy comes in to see if you have actually correctly claimed your points and you didn't overclaim it. So that's what I said. It needs to be done correctly. So for us, for our clients, we're happy because we know we took control from the beginning. We know we claimed it correctly. So if that's fine, on the client side, medical, police check is all good, you get the visa. Okay.
Nice. So, another question. What is the qualification level required for early childhood education? Is diploma fine or a degree?
It has to be degree or higher, bachelor degree or higher.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So it's
Bachelor's
actually
degree.
okay for you to have like a degree in economics, for example, a bachelor degree in economics. But you must complete at least 1 year of like a postgraduate or a master's at early childhood to qualify. So it doesn't mean to qualify for early childhood, you must do like a 4-year bachelor. No, it must be at least 1 year higher than a bachelor level or at least bachelor level.
All right. Okay. Another question. Which state is the easiest to apply for?
Easy as a I wish I wish it was as easy as that. Okay. No states are easy, trust me. Okay. No states are easy. I would have answered this question as South Australia if this was maybe 10 years back. Okay, but no. As you can see in this webinar, I actually shared the ranking factors already, right? So it's about strategizing the right candidates for the right state. So if you're young, then the next thing I'll say is, hey, make sure you get a very high English. So it's about putting them at the right states to try to aim for what the states are looking at actually. No states are easy, okay? But higher quotas means more invitations.
All right. Okay. I guess we can go like another few questions. Okay, there's another person. Okay. When do I need my English competency done?
Most of the time it's at EOI stage, but for certain but it would also differ according to certain occupations. So certain occupations requires English at skills assessment, such as accountants, okay, teachers, the authority that assesses the skills, such as like AITSL, CPA or CANZ, they require English at time of skill assessment. But for other occupations like IT and IT, engineers also need English actually. Yeah. IT and better assess occupations, it's at EOI stage.
Right. Okay. Another question. When is the best time to submit my EOI?
Best time. Best time to submit is always when the state opens, when the new fiscal year is open, when there are higher quotas in that particular fiscal year. The earlier you go in, the better your chances are also. Because sometimes what happens is the states don't really prorate fixed quotas every month. Some states might do it, okay? Some states might do it. Like for example, South Australia has clearly mentioned theirs is end of the month, every month, okay? But some states, they might select a lot in the beginning. So those in the early stages might be a little bit more lenient. Then when the quotas deplete, the remnants are there, then it becomes tougher. So be in the pool early. Just get into the pool first. Don't worry too much about the English or something that if, let's say, you've only gotten, like you're aiming for superior scores, but let's say you just got proficient, just get in first, right? You can always continue taking the English to improve your score and we can then update the profile while it's already submitted. Okay?
Okay. One last question for the night. All
Okay.
right.
Sure.
Okay. Can a fresh graduate apply for skill migration visa?
Sure. Certainly. As you can see, Western Australia didn't require work experience. SA needs, Victoria doesn't need. If NSW follows what they did last year, they also did not have a strict work experience requirement. So in short, yes, fresh grads can apply, okay? But then to be realistic, I also need to see what is your occupation, okay? Some fresh grads without work experience will not be able to qualify for skills assessment, such as IT. IT, for example, you would need minimum 2 years of experience, okay? Marketing, if you have a marketing degree, 1 year of experience. But if you're a teacher, you don't need any work experience. You just complete your qualifications, you qualify. Engineer, you complete your qualifications, you qualify. Okay. So in short, you can, but whether it's specifically suitable for your profile, we need to assess and inform you that. Okay.
Great. So, ladies and gentlemen, so we have come to the end of this session. So, we hope that you have all the ideas and also all the information needed for you to decide on your skill migration interest. So again, you can give us a call or reach us out through email and or WhatsApp us at the number given earlier for any further inquiries. Don't forget to send us your CV, get in touch with us, get your assessment done, and make your decision of a lifetime as soon as possible. All right, Audrey?
Okay, thanks everyone. Okay, I hope it was informative session for all of you. Hope to speak to you soon. Have a good night. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Good night, everyone.